to log in and configure a video encoder. After getting a video encoder, how do you log in to the device and configure parameters? Let's take the live streaming with RTMP protocol as an example to briefly demonstrate the operation steps and notes. First, prepare an IP address for the encoder to connect to the external network. Contact the management person for IP address and gateway and record it, or to find available IP address via ping command by yourself. Please watch our another video for detailed steps how to find available IP address. If you get an IP address with DHCP, this step can be skipped. 2. Connect the encoder to the computer via Ethernet cable and connect the video source power supply to the encoder at the same time. And then step 1. Connect the power supply to the encoder. Step 2. Connect the Ethernet cable to the encoder. Step 3. Connect the other end of the Ethernet cable to the computer. Step 4. Connect the video source to the encoder. Step 5. Turn on the encoder. 3. Log in to the web management page of the encoder with default IP address. The default IP address of the encoder is 192.168.1.168. Make sure you configure the encoder and computer in the same network segment so that the computer can access to the web page of the encoder. For example, 192.168.1.1.0. Please watch the following video to change the IP address of the computer. Open the web browser. Chrome and Firefox are recommended. Directly input the encoder's IP address, default be 192.168.1.168, and press Enter to open the login interface. And then fill in the username and password. The default username and password be admin, and then click Login. 4. Configure parameters. 4.1. Configure whether the video source is properly connected. Check the preview image at the motion JPEG stream. If the image is dynamically changing frame by frame, it means the video is fitting. If it shows blue screen or still image, please check the interface and the video source. 4.2. Configure bitrate and resolution. Go to the encoding and stream page and click Encoding and Stream Settings. Click Setting under the H264 mainstream to enter the encoding parameter and configuration page. Then set the resolution, the frame rate, and the bitrate. 4.3. Configure streaming address. Go to Encoding and Stream page and click Encoding and Stream Settings. Taking RTMP pushing streaming as an example, click Edit Stream Service under the H264 mainstream and select RTMP pushing, and then click the RTMP setting button to enter the stream configuration page. Fill in the RTMP pushing address of the broadcasting platform in the push point with the format of RTMP pushing address or live code. RTMP stream addresses and live broadcast codes of some platforms have been merged together. Just copy and paste them directly into the push point. Finally, start RTMP push streaming and save the configuration. 4.4. Configure the IP address to connect the network. 1. Configure the Ethernet IP address. Click Network and Service Setting and then click Network Manager. Click on Configure button under the Ethernet to enter the Ethernet configuration page. Select the menu set of the address resolve and and the IP address and gateway are the same as the recorded values in step 1. Note: the encoder is in DHCP mode by default. If your network is DHCP and you want to use DHCP, just keep the default configurations. 2. Configure Wi-Fi IP address. Click Network and Service Settings, and then click Network Manager. Click Configure button under the Wi-Fi to enter the Wi-Fi configuration page. Find the Wi-Fi you need to connect and enter the wireless password. Select the menu set of the address resolve. Following steps are the same as the Ethernet configuration, or use DHCP to obtain an IP address and save the configurations. 4.5. For other settings not mentioned above, just keep the default parameters. 5. Connect to the actual application network. After configuring the above parameters and network, disconnect the Ethernet cable that connects the encoder with the computer and connect it to the network to be used. Then connect the encoder to the internet and you can watch the live video on streaming receivers. 6. Log in to web management page of the encoder again. 6.1. Log in with an IP by menu set. If the IP address currently used by the encoder is manually set, a computer in the same network segment can log into this IP address directly. 6.2. Log in with an IP by DHCP. If setting by DHCP, you can directly connect the encoder to the computer and log into the web page of the encoder with the default IP address. Enter the router page or open OnWave software in the same network to find the current IP address of the encoder and log in. That's all. Thanks for watching. For more information about live streaming, just click and subscribe here.